Welcome to AACE Certification Volunteer Grader Training. This brief training program is to prepare you to successfully serve as a volunteer grader. So let's begin. During the next few minutes, you will learn the following: volunteer grader criteria, responsibility, and confidentiality, the purpose of the written communication component for examination, the breakdown of each exam's communication aspect, the grader coordinator role and responsibility, grader assignment process and frequency, how to use the grader's evaluation forms, providing grader feedback, calculating your score, returning your evaluation, and circumstantial considerations. In order to qualify to grade technical papers, memos, or essays, the volunteer must have successfully passed the same examination and currently possess an active certification, have a signed confidentiality agreement on file, have completed the volunteer grader training and passed the grading evaluation, be available and responsive to requests from the grading coordinator for grading assistance. The grader must be committed to score the assignments in accordance with the instructions given, meet the turnaround deadline as instructed by the grader coordinator, be a primary grader or an alternate or backup grader in cases of reevaluation or examination appeals, protect the confidentiality of the grading evaluation templates, maintain professionalism when documenting comments. Before you began this training program, you were required to sign a confidentiality agreement. By your signature, you have agreed to keep all contents of the certification examination evaluation templates and responses in your possession safe, and will refrain from discussions or sharing with anyone not directly authorized by the certification board to receive such information. Failure to adhere to this agreement is considered an ethics violation and may result in disciplinary action, including revocation of your AACE certification. The grader coordinator is responsible for the overall coordination, receiving and assigning all technical papers, memos, or essays for grading, tracking assignments weekly, answering questions and provide grader guidance, acting as the team liaison to the certification board. There is an exception for the CCP team. The grading is coordinated by headquarters staff who work with the CCP certification board team liaison. The purpose of written communication as part of examination is to evaluate the candidate's ability to communicate ideas, statements, and recommendations or solutions in a logical and reasonable manner, the professional expertise of the candidate. All professional level examinations contain a written communication component, in addition to multiple choice and compound scenario questions. The CCP exam requires a written communication component before the examination. The CEP, CFCC, DRMP, EVP, and PSP exams require a written communication component during the examination. Let's look at the process further. For CCP examination, the written communication component is received, assessed for 2,500 word count, and checked for plagiarism. If the paper meets these criteria, it is assigned to 3 graders before being cleared to sit for the exam. The remaining professional examinations are cleared to sit for the examination, and the written communication component is provided during the examination. After the examination is completed, the memo is extracted, reviewed, and formatted for grading, and then assigned to 3 graders. From the graphic, you can see the order of steps are somewhat reversed for the CCP exam compared to the other professional level examinations. Regardless of the order of steps, the assignment process is consistent for exams. Assign 3 graders. Graders review and score their assignments. Graders return the completed evaluation form to the grader coordinator by the deadline given, which will range from 1 to 2 weeks. The graders work independently in confidentiality and do not collaborate. All examination papers, memos, or essays are stored in Dropbox, a cloud-based file hosting service, until they are ready to be assigned to graders. At regular intervals, graders will receive an email to assess their availability to grade. A response is required because it is important to have enough graders for each assignment cycle. We track all responses through our online form. As stated previously, each volunteer grader must be committed to active participation. Graders may be removed from the roster if not available for more than 1 consecutive grading cycle for CCP grading and more than 3 consecutive grading cycles for all other certifications. Once all grader availability responses have been received, headquarters staff provides access to available graders in Dropbox and will share the access link via email. Each file will have a folder for evaluation forms and instructions, and a folder for the actual assignments. The grader will click on the assigned candidate number to open and view the file, which is the last number of the file name. Due to complexity of some of our exams, we currently have 3 types of evaluation forms: the CCP Technical Paper Evaluation Form, the CFCC Essay Evaluation Form, and the CEP, DRMP, EVP, and PSP Memo Evaluation Form. Although they look different, completing them is done in a similar manner. Each evaluation form has components to grade, with a maximum value assigned. As you review the assignment, you will award a score based upon the candidate's ability to meet the component. You will award a 0 score for not meeting the standard, a partial score for meeting part of the standard, and the maximum score for meeting or exceeding the standard. Providing proper feedback starts with understanding what is feedback. The term feedback is often used to describe all kinds of comments made after the fact, including advice, praise, and evaluation. But none of these are feedback, strictly speaking. Feedback is information about how we are doing in our efforts to reach a goal. For example, if I tell a joke with the goal of making people laugh, the audience's feedback will tell me if I achieved the goal or not. Did everyone laugh? Did half the room laugh? Was there silence? Or worse, did everyone boo me right off the stage? There is no doubt any of these reactions would clearly tell me if my joke was absolutely funny, needs some work, or not funny at all. The exam candidate's goal is to effectively communicate their response to the scenario provided. Your score will determine if the goal was met, but your feedback will communicate how well they performed, or help to pinpoint areas for improvement so that the candidate knows where to focus their attention in future retesting if necessary. Effective feedback provides actionable information. It is concrete, specific, and useful. Writing "good job," "bad job," or "you did this or that wrong" is not feedback, it's judgment. The numerical score will without a doubt tell a candidate how good or how bad they did. The grader's feedback summary should provide neutral, goal-related facts to help the candidate understand how to turn around the bad or continue doing the good. Some examples to consider. Feedback versus advice. You needed to give more information. You may want to consider less information. You should have included better options. With multiple elements to evaluate, which element needs more or less information? Identifying the area of weakness will help to determine what is a better choice. Being vague does not help the candidate understand areas for improvement. None of these statements provide clear, concise feedback. Also, because we only provide pass or fail for examination results and do not share actual scores or grades, it is not acceptable to make numerical scores or grade references in your summary. Here are some examples of grader summary feedback. Although the grader coordinator reviews each grading sheet before tabulating the final score, the grader's summary feedback should be returned with the feedback summary ready to be sent to the candidate. Therefore, it is important to make sure to spell correctly and use proper grammar. How can a candidate take a grader's feedback seriously if the grader does not spell or communicate properly? Avoid using I or me statements. Writing in a neutral voice will help to minimize subjectivity in the summary. Avoid being too general, such as generally weak in all elements. This does not provide the candidate with meaningful, actionable feedback. Avoid using bullets or numbering. Comments should be in full sentences and in paragraph form in one cell of the worksheet. Avoid indicating pass or fail. Each memo is graded by 3 graders and averaged together for a final score. There is no way for an individual grader to assume the candidate passed or failed the memo portion of the exam. The other 2 graders may not have scored the same way. Therefore, using pass or fail references in feedback will likely cause confusion for the candidate. Once you have completed grading all assignments, you immediately return all grading materials to the grader coordinator. Once the grader coordinator receives all completed grading sheets, a summary of each score is compiled from the 3 assigned graders and submits to headquarters for finalization. The final grade for each memo is calculated by combining the raw scores from each grader and dividing them by 3. Headquarters notifies the candidate of pass or fail result for the entire exam. A summary of graders' comments is given to all candidates. This is why objective comments are especially crucial. Graders are forbidden from communicating directly with candidates regarding the exam or any results thereof. Any communication with a candidate must be through headquarters personnel and/or the certification board. Headquarters notifies the grader coordinator and certification board chairperson of all exam results for each exam cycle. Graders must recuse themselves from grading for a cycle if any one or more of the following occurs. Grader has a known relationship, business, personal, or otherwise, with an examination candidate. Or the grader's time commitments to other priorities may preclude the maximum response time as determined by your grader coordinator. Or the grader's status as a current active certificate has expired or lapsed. Also, note that all materials related to candidates' answers and grades are identified with a unique candidate number that are confidential. In order to protect your identity, each grader is identified by a grader number for each candidate, such as grader 1, grader 2, or grader 3. Graders should track grading assignments, as it will count toward the grader's own recertification requirements. The original assignments and the completed score sheets are to be returned to the grader coordinator. Do not return any information directly to AACE headquarters staff, except for the CCP examination team. Once all grading materials are returned to the grader coordinator, delete all material from your computer and email and destroy any hard copies. Do not keep anything. Do not make or retain any copies of the assignments or the grading materials. If you have any questions or issues, please contact the Certification Department at 304-296-8444, extension 1110, or contact us at certification@aacei.org. Congratulations! You have now completed the online training portion of this program. You're almost done. Click the link below to take a brief quiz of the material presented, followed by instructions for the final step in your paper grader training, actually grading a sample assignment. Good luck! We'll be in touch soon.